This is a topic that I think is going to piss off a lot of people. I want to put a lot of caveats in what I'm saying here, which is I see an issue with the glorification of mental illness in modern society, right? So I understand where it comes from. Again, this is a pendulum swing issue. We come from a time where being depressed, having anxiety, having mental illness was like viewed as a weakness. People said, just stop being sad or just do this, get out in the sun. Like people that don't have clinical depression, people that don't have clinical, like real serious anxiety, they don't understand it and they just think you're being a pussy, right? That's been the mindset for a long time. So I understand why this sort of modern glorification of these illnesses is here, but I think again we've swung too far. Like when I see a bunch of posts about people who are almost glorifying the fact that they're depressed and that they have anxiety and that they're fucking losers and that they don't do anything and blah 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 blah. You shouldn't be ashamed to have mental illness. Feels like we're almost at a point now where people are proud to have mental illness. I had friends that would do that a lot. It's like 100% you shouldn't be ashamed to have mental illness or have depression or have anxiety. And it is very real. It is as real as cancer. It is as real as any other fucking issue. But I see people that like wallow in it. I have my own issues. I've struggled with anxiety. I have struggled with depression. I'm pretty clear of those things these days, but I put in a lot of work to do so. But like I have my own experiences with those things. And while I would never be ashamed and I'm admitting it here, I never had those moments and felt like this is awesome. I need to talk about how my struggles are so important, as opposed to like, no, this sucks. I should not be doing this. I should not be feeling this way. I will fight against this. Have you ever seen those cartoons? They are all over social media where it's like this insane glorification of being a depressed loser and not doing anything about it. And I use that word loser in a non-judgmental way, even though it sounds very judgmental. Like they're not doing what they need to in life and depression is the cause of it. And it's fucking horrible. Like depression is serious and it needs to be addressed. But there's almost this culture like you'll always be depressed. You'll never pull yourself out of it. You'll never be better than it. Let's just like meme about it on the internet. Here it is. Like I see these and people like share these all the time. I haven't been feeling so good lately. Eat kale, do yoga, run 3 miles every morning. Oh, well, see, I agree with this actually. Maybe this is a bad example here because these things actually can be helpful, but it's like not helpful to somebody in the midst of depression.
My outlook on it when I see like a clip on Instagram or there's a guy on there and he's got his head in his hands and he's saying, oh, I'm so broken. And there's some goofy ass music playing in the background. There is a certain like feeling I get when I see that where you went through all this time to post this about yourself for like the world to see how depressed you are. And I understand that people express themselves in different ways.
Sure.
I express myself a certain way, but I want to look into that post and say, hey man, stop, get off Instagram because you're making it worse.
Yeah.
And go run a mile or go lift some heavy weight or go fix whatever the fuck you got going on, but stop posting about it on Instagram.
Sure.
Dude, I certainly deal with all those things all the time.
Yeah.
But goddamn posting it on social media and sharing like memes and artwork about it. Is there any therapeutic value to that?
Sure.
Like, and I think when people who are also dealing with it see it, who don't express themselves like that, it's annoying. I don't want to see that. The depression, having issues from it, maybe it does prevent you from going out and doing stuff or meeting people or excelling in your job. That's real. Yeah. Like that has to be fixed. There's got to be some source for that. That person needs help. Yeah, you're right. The glorification is silly. And it's the self-glorification. A couple years ago, people would talk about other people having it and it's a thing. And it's definitely a thing. But now the people are outwardly, oh, I'm so.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely therapeutic value in people seeing that other people are struggling with what they struggle with. But I think it's like taken to an extreme.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like,
some of these posts are really fucking good. There's like t-shirts and they're making merch.
Right. And that's the other thing. This is a joke. There are people who absolutely fake depression for the views. That's 100% a thing.
Yeah,
right?
it could probably that's probably what I'm seeing too.
Right. And that's part of it, man. It's like the people that really is a big part of it.
Like it's a brand. And you get followers.
Right. And you have people who are in the depths of real depression and they see that and they think, oh, here's a soul that
I can relate to these people.
Right. Again, I struggle with like, let's use this as an example because I'm sure half the audience is screaming at this, which I'm fine. Go fuck your mother. But like I struggle with my weight, obviously. Right. I'm a big fat guy. And I battle with it constantly. I'm always overeating because I have a mental illness that makes me fucking eat way more than I should eat. I go through ups and downs as far as like, okay, I'm going to be like dedicated and then fucking like it's like almost a binge issue. Like I have issues,
Yeah,
right?
sure.
But it isn't good for me to have that. That's not the person who I want to be. It's shitty to be that way. Like, and I fight against it constantly. And my mindset is to fight against it, not to go, I'm just a fat fuck. And it's a good,
Put an Instagram post where there's like a pizza laying in your belly.
Yeah,
and
I'm
like
shirtless and I'm like, yeah, fat life.
Yeah.
It's like the glorification of
It got me
being
again.
a
I'm so
fucking
broken.
loser. Yeah. Yeah. That's hilarious. Right. No, but that's what I'm saying. It's like I struggle with these issues, but I will always fight against them and push back against them. I'm never going to go, hey, that's who I am and that's just me and that's just great. Let me do a post where I write a cartoon about how it's great. Fucking die when you're 42. Again, it's real. Depression is real and mental illness is real. It needs to be addressed. It needs to be understood and it needs to be empathized with. Like you should have empathy for people with these issues. They're not just being, I know you weren't saying this, but they're not just being pussies by being depressed.
Yeah.
Going out and being like, it's fucking wonderful, like almost as acting as if like you said, it's like a brand, or it's like, hey, I'm a depression YouTuber. It's like, fight against this shit, dude. This isn't the way you should want to be.
I think that the act of posting about it and glorifying it, that's definitely not helping the issue. I do think that we're not here forever. We live like a short amount of time.
Nothing.
And as you get older, you start to realize it starts feeling like that time goes by quicker and quicker.
Yep. Oh yeah.
And at a certain point, you do got to tell your teammate or your boy or your wife or yourself to like, hey man, suck it up and like fucking fix this.
Right.
Stop.
Yeah.
I agree that a long time ago that was like the fix. Is just stop being depressed.
Right.
Because it's so nuanced. There's so much more to it than just okay, you're right. I will stop being depressed.
Right.
Hey, I'll see
like telling me to
tomorrow.
just lose weight. Right?
Yeah. Hey,
it's
just
like,
dude, just stop eating.
Yeah. Da-da-da.
Yeah, and then like a week later, you're like, dude, I'm in a 32 waist.
Yeah.
That was good advice.
Dude, that'd be sweet. Oh, I never thought of that, dude.
Yeah, I never thought of
holy shit.
to just stop
eat
eating.
less calories. Huh.
So that is not possible. I understand that, but for someone who is like just wallowing in it, hey man, like pick yourself up and go fix the shit.
Yeah, I agree.
You have to fix it. You have to fix it.
Well, it's about taking self-responsibility for your life.
Yeah, and that's hard.
It is hard, but I think that like in this, God, we just, I can't stay away from politics, unfortunately. But it's like this is something that the right has that the left doesn't have, that the left has problems with. The right says, pick yourself up by your bootstraps, and they say it to a delusional degree.
It kind of works for them.
Right. But they say it like to people who don't have a chance, who don't even have boots, right? I mean, this is where I disagree with the right and where they're wrong about shit. Like, let's look at a racism issue. The right would say, hey, black people, there is no oppression. There is no systemic racism. You're just violent. You're just, you need to just pull yourself up. Get a job, go to college, stop acting as if there's no forces working on black Americans that might keep black Americans at a higher level of poverty and crime and incarceration. Like, there are racial issues in this country, but a hardcore right person will act like it's just 100% their own individual problems and they're the cause of their own problems and there is no forces that are causing this. That's not correct. But the left goes in the complete opposite direction. You have no personal responsibility for why things are the way they are for you. It's all because of systemic oppression. It's all because like boo-hoo, and it's all because you never had a chance. They're on opposite sides and both of them are wrong, right? So it's like the same sort of thing. It's like, yes, there are reasons that you're depressed, right? Depression is real. There's chemical reasons that it's real, and there's shit that isn't your fault. But there are things you can do to fucking get out of it. So it's about like recognizing the fact that there is circumstances out of your control, but that there are circumstances in your control. And I think that the left likes to reject all that shit that's in your control and say, nope, it's just all out of your control. You're powerless. They say that with like racial issues, with gender issues. They say that with depression. And the right is hardcore in the other direction where they say, no, it's all within your control. There's nothing out of your control, which isn't true either. The left has this issue more than the right when it comes to the depression. I've been in fucking discords where it's like it's nothing but people like boo-hooing their mental illness, and it's almost annoying after a while.
Yeah, man.
I don't want to turn into a righty and be like, quit being a pussy, but part of me is like, do you not think that this glorification of this that you're doing is part of the problem?
I think most things are in your control. Most things you can eventually get under control. I hate the fucking term, pick yourself up by the bootstrap. I've never known a pair of boots to have straps. Here's a moral to the story. If you practice at doing pull-ups, eventually you'll be able to do pull-ups.
Right.
If you practice at trying to get better at wherever your situation is, you will eventually be better at escaping your situation.
Yeah. I agree.
Pretend like there's alligators at your feet and
Right.
pull yourself up by your arms. Fuck this bootstrap stuff.
Yeah.
That's silly. That's
Use
like
your
defies
arms.
gravity. I could probably pull myself up by my bootstraps if I was on the moon because of no gravity.
Yeah.
Like I just kind of like
Pull
heave
up.
myself up.
Yeah.
And then
just
like
float off into
yeah, and just
space
float
and
off.
die instantly.
You can do
All
anything if
depression
you
can
want
be
it bad enough.
cured. Well, you know, yeah, no. Like it depends upon.
you'd be president, bud. You'd
Yeah,
be
I
Donald
mean-
Trump if you want.
I don't know why you'd want
You
to.
want it?
but, yeah.
You just go get it.
There is truth to that, and I think that's the problem that the left suffers from is like the understanding that like enough like willpower on the individual level can make almost anything happen. But it is really fucking hard.
Sure, it's
Right.
hard, but it's not impossible.
Right. And exactly. And that's my issue with like what I see, to circle back around, like that's the issue that I see with this glorification of depression, anxiety, and mental illness in general. It's like, it's not just, hey, I have this and this sucks and I fight against it every day. It's like, we all have this together, right? Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. I can't do anything about it. Life sucks. Oh, boo hoo. I'm going to, and it's like, dude, is that healthy? Is that like the way you want
It
to
can't be healthy.
It is. I don't think it is. And this is, again, where I'll lean right a little bit, but not all the way, because I'm not going to say that you go too far and then you're suddenly acting like they're just being pussies, which I don't agree with, right?
Yeah.
But you're right. They are just being pussies when it comes to like, I took 2 hours to create a post about my depression instead of trying to help my own depression.
Yeah. They could have
There's
took a
a problem
shower,
there.
went for a run, built some Lego Star Wars
Shit,
shit.
even if it was just, cleaning the room,
Clean a room, make your
Jordan
bed.
Peterson's.
Like,
But, like,
there's a lot of stock
yeah.
in that, man.
Right.
And we discount those small things because we don't like the flavor in which they're delivered. But I mean, there's real shit that we can do to help. Doesn't mean that person with debilitating depression will ever escape it. He'll probably always have that. And you're right, there is chemical, but
To me, it's
fuck
the
off Instagram,
attitude
man.
that you put around it that's the issue.
Yeah.
Like, again, I
Yeah.
understand why the pendulum has swung this way, because before it was like anybody with mental illness. I mean, we used to fucking shock them. We used to literally electrocute.
Yeah.
Like, so I get it, man. Like, we've been crazy about it, but now we're at a point where it's like, I'll never glorify the mental illness that keeps me fat. I'll never glorify it. It's
Yeah.
my problem. It's my individual responsibility.
Yeah.
I eat too much. I have control issues with eating. I totally admit that, but I'm never going to glorify it. Being fat is unhealthy. It just is. I don't want to be fat. I struggle with it every day.
Is it anyone else's fault?
Anyone else's or
Yeah.
any other circumstance?
Is it anyone's fault that happens?
Society, I think, might have a role in it to some degree. Again, a little bit, right? I mean, I grew up in a country where food science is designed to be as unnutritional and as highly addictive as possible.
Yeah.
We have subsidies in this country that subsidize the most unhealthy foods. They get you addicted to sugar, salt, and fat more than anything. There are certainly aspects to why America's in an obesity epidemic that, again, this is where you have to like play that balance. You can't just go to the right. You can't just go to the left. You got to find that gray area, that weird reality. Regardless of that, though, there are things that are not my fault that are why I'm fat, but focusing on them help me in no way whatsoever.
Yeah.
What helps me is what I can control, right? Which is fighting and understanding that being fat isn't good and that I don't want to be fat and I need to keep working on it because I am the only one who can control it. While absolutely there are other reasons that I'm fat that aren't my fault, I think the culture, the subsidization that the government, like America's eating is really bad, right? And like you can go into a gas station and pay $10 and get 10,000 calories.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? From crazy processed shit.
Empty
Right.
bullshit calories.
Yeah. But at the same time, like focusing on that helps me in zero ways. It doesn't help me. Like
Yeah.
if I focus on that, then I'm just going to give up and just write on Instagram, I'm so tired of being fat. Why can't the government make my food healthier? That's fucking stupid. That's not going to help me.
Yeah.
So again, it's this balancing act, and that's what I see with the weird culture of mental illness, which is like given up and whoa, why can't healthcare help me? Which again, we should have universal healthcare, but it's like, what is healthy for you as a person to absorb, think about, and act upon? Is it woe is me? Here's all the stuff out of my control that makes it worse for me. Like that stuff is true, and you should fight against it, but at the same time, like I just want results. Like I just want to be better. right? Like for me personally, I just want to be skinnier. Or for the person suffering with hardcore depression, like they just want to not be sad. And the way you get to that is not the glorification, not the woe is me, not that it's out of my control. Like none of that will actually help you. The only thing that's going to help you is taking responsibility.
We have choices to change what most things that are happening to us. We have choices to go away from it.
Sure.
You know?
You could make the argument that somebody is incapable of making good choices in the sense that all the chemicals in their brain, like all of their past experiences and how their brains are wired, like will almost not allow them to. And there's some, like I am a determinist more than I am a free will believer. There's something there, but at the same time, it's like as an individual, you got to figure out like what is going to give me the results that I want. Again, there can be all these forces working against you, but if you can't change those forces, like focusing on that is not going to help you. You want to feel better, you have actions that can make you feel better. You want to lose weight. Like, again, if I want to lose weight, I have actions that I try to take, and then I'll probably fucking go eat 70 pounds of steak later.
But that's your choice.
Well, right. But is it? Or I also have a mental illness that like I'm genuinely like saying, like, I have an issue with overeating.
Sure.
Like, I'm sure the earlier part of this is going to piss off people that suffer with this and are part of that culture who love to just glorify their depression. But it's like, I just want to do what's best for me. I don't want to be understood. I'm sure I could go find a forum that tells me that I look great as a fat guy and I shouldn't want to lose weight and blah, 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 blah. But it's like, I know that's bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm not delusional.
Yeah.
And I think you have to be delusional to want to be depressed, want to be anxious, want to be fat, and to celebrate those things as like, oh, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
Like, and when I see that shit, I just gross, dude. Gross. I don't like it. Again, this is where we alienate everybody in our audience. So yeah, like, you know, if you're depressed, I feel for you. Really, I'm not saying that in a facetious way. Like, I really hope you do what helps you get better because you deserve it. But also, like, I hope you don't think it's like just the way that it is and that it's cool and that there's nothing you can do and you want to go and share memes about like how sad you are all the time. Like, I just don't think I want to avoid your posts at all costs because I think that that's the opposite message that is ever going to be helpful for anybody.